Everybody celebrates landing a big customer. And honestly, I understand why. They're paying and revenue's growing. People can relax and they can breathe. After years of fighting and struggling, it's finally working. But does anyone stop to ask themselves the one question? What happens now? Because customers don't become dangerous because they're bad. They become dangerous because they're valuable. And value has a strange ability. It makes dependence feel like security. Think about it. Nobody gets nervous when revenue grows. Nobody gets nervous when invoices get paid. Nobody gets nervous when business is booming. Why would they? Success doesn't create fear. Success creates confidence. And confidence also has a strange ability. It slowly turns concentration into norm. And that's what I think makes customer dependency so dangerous. Not because it looks dangerous, because it doesn't. It looks successful. Customer dependency doesn't announce itself. I don't think anyone wakes up one day and says, you know what? Let's build a whole company around one single customer. I don't think that's how it happens. I think it happens slowly, quietly, almost naturally. One customer starts buying more, then they start buying a whole lot more. And because they're buying more, people just naturally start paying them more attention. Not because anybody told them to, not because anybody announced it. It just happens. Their email gets answered first, their calls get returned first, their problems become urgent problems. And I know you know this one. Their deadlines becomes everyone's deadline. Everybody knows their preference inside the company. Everybody knows what they like, and they most definitely know what they don't like. And if they're smart, they know how they like things done. And after a while, something strange starts happening. Meetings start changing because of them. Conversations start changing because of them. Decisions start changing because of them. Everybody starts asking questions like, what does so-and-so think? Have we heard back from them yet? Did they approve this? Are they okay with this? And nobody thinks anything about it. Why in the world would they? They're paying the bills. Revenue's growing. Customer is happy. Everything appears healthy. Everything appears strong. Everything appears successful. And that's exactly what makes it hard to recognize. Because dependence doesn't usually arrive with panic. It arrives with confidence. And confidence makes strange things happen, makes things feel normal. That's why I don't think most entrepreneurs recognize dependence while they're building it, because nothing appears broken. Everything appears to be working. And when things are working, people stop asking questions. And I think that's where most entrepreneurs misunderstand this. Because I don't think the customer is the problem. There's nothing wrong with a great customer. There's nothing wrong with trust. There's nothing wrong with loyalty. There's nothing wrong with long relationships. The problem isn't value, it's gravity. Because valuable things have gravity. And gravity pulls things towards it. Think about it. Nobody plans to orbit one customer. Like I said, it just happens. People stop questioning, challenging, and exploring because everybody's trying to protect what works. This is the reason why everything starts moving around that one customer instead of moving around the business. New products are created because of them. New processes are created because of them. You hire a bunch of new people just for this customer. You go rearranging schedules for this customer. Meetings change, priorities change, everything change. Focus on this one big customer. And the reason why is because this customer becomes bigger than the system, bigger than the business. And once it becomes bigger than the system is serving one thing them. It feels smart. It feels efficient because it has a strange way of giving you security. You stop asking the question that's in the back of your mind. What happens if they're gone? What if the customer leaves? What if they cancel their contract? What if they stop buying from us? Nobody asks these questions when things are rolling and things are good. And I actually think that is the most dangerous part. That's why dependence sneaks up on you and is dangerous when it comes to customer dependence. Not because it's weak, because it's like ether. You can't see it or smell it. But I think that's the reason why absence reveals what success can. Not because customers are bad, not because the relationship fails, not because people are dishonest. Sometimes things just change. That's business. Sometimes priorities change. Sometimes leadership changes. Sometimes the market changes. Sometimes the culture, the company itself changes. That's life. Been there, done that. But the interesting part is not that things change. The interesting part is what it reveals when it does. Because one day the email comes or the phone call comes or that meeting comes and something changes. Not because the building disappeared, not because the employee disappeared, not because all your customers disappeared, but certainty disappeared, confidence disappeared. And suddenly inside the company, the conversation starts changing. People start asking questions, they start calculating. They start worrying. They start looking at numbers differently. Yeah, they start discussing things they haven't discussed in years. The business that used to look strong yesterday doesn't look so strong today. Not because the business changed overnight, but because something became unavailable. And I think that's what shocks or surprises the entrepreneur, the business owner. Not the loss, but the realization. Because things that look like strength before start looking like exposure. Things that look like security start looking like failed concentration. Things that start looking like ownership look like temporary access. Yeah, they were a customer, but they weren't permanent. You didn't control it. You didn't own it. You just had access to it. And these are two different things. The absence doesn't create dependence, it reveals dependence, where success covers up dependence. It slowly takes borrowed, limited access things and turn them into assumptions like you own them, like they're yours. It makes them feel like they're permanent right up until they're not. That's why I don't think the question is how big the customer is. I don't think the question is how valuable the customer is, because valuable customers aren't the problem. Big customers aren't the problem. Great customers aren't the problem. Long relationships aren't the problem. The problem lies in the question that's simpler than that. What happens if they're gone, if they're unavailable? They're no longer there. They're no longer a client. Because I think it reveals more about the business than the revenue ever does. Healthy businesses appreciate customers. Dependent businesses need customers or a customer in particular. These are two different types of conditions. Healthy businesses enjoy concentrations in areas of customers, while dependent business is actually controlled by it. And I think that's why most entrepreneurs misunderstand this part, because dependence doesn't look weak, it looks successful, it looks thriving, it looks like it's working. The things that you pursued, you're accomplishing. So there's no way it could be anything wrong with it. It's profitable, it's reasonable, it's productive. It's all those things. Everything appears healthy and strong. And that's why I don't think the size of the customer really tells you much. I think the absence of the customer tells you more. That's why I don't think ownership is measured by what it produces. I think it's measured by what actually survives, because survival reveals things that success never will. And I think that's why most entrepreneurs wake up one day shocked, not because they lost a customer, because they discovered something. They don't own what they thought they owned. They simply had access to it. And access and ownership aren't the same thing. This is your boy, J.I., a random podcast. I'll holla at you on the other side.